Legends, folk heroes, club servants, icons. Here are the 50 players that have carried these badges of honour for Spurs and also embody the club's ethos to play good football above all else.
In comes Dyson, he scored!
There's Ardiles, there's Huddle! Oh, smashing! Oh, it's a brilliant goal!
Post-war Spurs has been a great era for the club, beginning in the late 40s when they won the Division 2 crown, and the very next season won the top division title to become champions of England for the first time in Spurs history. The first club to win the double, the first British team to win in Europe, the first club to win the UEFA Cup, the 6 post-war FA Cup wins, the 4 League Cup victories, the 2 UEFA Cup wins and the Cup Winners' Cup triumph of 1963. This is a legacy that spans throughout this time period, from the push and run side right up to the Spurs team of today, lifting the Carling Cup crown in 2008. This list of the greatest Spurs players takes many things into account, from the obvious appearances, goals and success, but also looks deeper at the impact they had, adulation from the terraces and the players' legacy with the club. We count down from the 50th to the 1st as we take a trip down memory lane and salute the greatest players to pull on the lily white of Spurs. We start at number 50 and a great inside forward from the silver line push and run side of the late 40s and early 50s.
Well, Les Bennett was a tall, lean player with very, very good control, but he was a very useful player and a good one-wing player, you would say. We had Sonny Walters on the right wing, who was a very hard-working player. As they helped Ramsey out a lot.
Half-time, Spurs take the lead through Bennett.
Les Bennett was a very elegant player, a really good ball player, a very skillful player. If his finishing had matched his approach work, I mean, he scored a lot of goals for Tottenham, but not as many as he should have done from the openings that he created by being skillful.
And they haven't finished yet. Just before time, Bennett makes it 5-1.
But his part in the balance of that Tottenham team, and to split it into 3 parts of the attacking part of that front 5 those days. Inside forward had to track back, but he was a very good player and a popular player. There was competition for those places as we've implied, but he was elegant to watch. He'd give you a few memories from that.
One of only 3 players in the list to play for any sustained period in the 21st century for Spurs, Ledley King is another local lad done good, making his debut way back in 1999.
It feels like it's 2-3 years ago. But yeah, I remember I think it was 2-0 up at the time at Anfield. Maurizio Tarico getting sent off, and George Graham telling me at half time that I was going to be coming on at left back. Yeah. So before I knew it, I was out there in the thick of things. It was, I think most people would tell you it's a bit of a surreal experience. Your first game, you're out there, playing against some of the stars that you're growing up watching, and it just flies by. The 45 minutes I was on, just flew by, and we ended up losing 3-2.
King quickly established himself in the heart of the defence and as club captain, but unfortunately his career has been blighted by injury. Injuries that would usually lead players to quit or lose their place amongst the elite of football.
The injuries that he's had, and just to come back and still, because his injury is it's not like one of those injuries where it's a little niggle and then he can play. It's a serious injury. So, and to play at the level that he's doing and what he's doing, for me, is incredible. If you take away all his injuries that he's had, there's no question in my mind that he'd be England's number 1 centre back, because he has everything. He's good in there. He's quick, he's great on the ball, he reads the game unbelievable, and he's a modern day, Paul McGrath. I think obviously there's a lot of similarities there with his injuries and what have you. Doesn't train for weeks, comes in, plays a game, and it's like he's never been out before. I mean, that's incredible stuff.
He has given great service to the club over the years and was rewarded in 2008 by becoming one of a special group of players to lift a trophy for Spurs.
As a player, you wonder when or if you're ever going to get a chance to lift the trophy. to win it was special and a dream come true. You know, the whole day was a special day, and obviously, you know, lifting the cup at the end just topped it all off. It means a lot to every player at the club to play for Tottenham, and you know, I'm no different. I still get nervous before every game. You know, 10 years later, you know, and that's the way I like it. You know, that brings out the best in myself, and you know, as I said, you know, as soon as I put on that shirt, I'm ready to go out and do better, and you know, I enjoy that feeling.
I mean, I first saw Big Mike play when I was at Fulham before I came here, against Andy Lockhead for Burnley. And if you had Blackburn against Burnley, I mean, it's like Arsenal against Tottenham. And they had a fight on the halfway line. And they both got sent off before half-time, and I thought, oh, dear me, he looks a bit hard. And I realised when he came, that's what he was.
Mike England, for me, if you're picking a team from these 50, and I don't know whether every position is covered by the choice of 50, but presumably that does work out that way. No question who the best centre-half would be, and that's Mike England. He was a ball-playing centre-half. He was good on the floor for a big man. He had the strength of a Maurice Norman and more skill. And maybe in part because of the development of the game, he was more of a threat in the opposition area, because it became common that centre-halves would go up and make their presence felt in the air. And he was very good in the air in both boxes.
Fantastic in the air, car strength, good at both ends of the pitch, could always go up front and get a goal from a corner, set piece, and just a real class defender.
He scored goals because he was big enough to get in the box for corners, and a great defender as well, and a real good guy.
He was a real good player, fantastic in the air. I mean, he was a big, tall man, you know, 6'1", 6'2", and probably as good a header as a ball as I've seen, actually. You know, and as a centre-half, excellent, absolutely brilliant.
He didn't take any, you know, nonsense from anybody. I always remember the games he had against Peter Osgood. I mean, they were battles, they were real battles. But 9 times out of 10, Mike would come out on top.
The centre forward, or whoever Mike was marking, knew he was around. He didn't take any prisoners. So he had both. He had the ability, he had the physical presence, he had the strength, and he wasn't frightened in either box to go in where it hurt.
Mike had all the attributes of the classic centre forward. He was strong, he was good in the air, he was good on the ground, he could link play, he could join players in the build-up, and he scored some great goals for the club.
Skill on the ground by young Mike Hazard. The crowd enjoyed it. His cross is a beauty now for Huddle. Played it again now. Oh, and a beautiful goal by Falco. What a magnificent goal by Tottenham.
All my family is Spurs. My dad used to follow me before I was born, and my team as a kid. And it was a great privilege to play for Spurs, going through the ranks and culminating in playing for the first team, which was very, as I said, privileged to do.
Mark broke into the first team in 1979, but with Archibald and Crooks he had a tough time holding down a regular place. However, his career highlight was the UEFA Cup final of 1984.
It was a bit tense because we played obviously Anderlecht away in the first leg, and we should have been more than, it shouldn't have been one all. I missed a chance, a good golden chance, and I think there was a couple other chances. So I think we thought we may have missed that chance then. But coming back here, I mean, the European nights here are electric. I know it's easy to say, but you've got to experience it. You've got to be there. I mean, playing in the all-white kit, the dark night, and the crowd. I think the Spurs crowd used to really come alive for the European nights. And it was make your the hairs on the back of your neck stand up at that night. Yeah.
Mark Falco was a wonderful goal scorer, a very underrated player. Had a very good goal scoring sort of games per goals ratio. Took a bit of stick from the crowd, as we all did when he first started playing. But again, a magnificent finisher, and right through his career, scored a lot of goals.
Mark would always